yes.
Oh my God, Squid, you're not letting me know when we're live. Do a astronaut, what's it called? NASA countdown?
3, 2, 1, we're live.
Jeez, no suspense. Welcome back, everybody. This is Kickback Anime Discussions, the chillest podcast on the platform. Hope everybody's doing good on this Wednesday as we are talking about NEN abilities for today's episode. I know on the podcast we haven't posted the last two. We do apologize, but this one should be a straight out banger. And we also got a new co-host. You guys will meet him sooner rather than later. Now, as always, the man behind the stream is our dude, our man, Squid the Cynic.
I love Hunter x Hunter. It's the best anime ever made. That's all. That's my intro.
I thought your favorite. I thought Gangster was your favorite anime.
Yeah, but I can have a favorite and not. I can acknowledge that Hunter x Hunter is a better anime than my favorite anime.
That's fair. That's fair. And for our special guest in today's episode in Kickback Anime Discussions, we got our man here, Essays.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
essays about essays about everything art, or just call me Nick for the podcast. But thanks for having me on. I love Hunter x Hunter. I think it's one of the best shows ever, and I'm psyched to talk about some Nen.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, as you guys can see, the man got a long name, so I was kind of brain
I
farting for
know.
some reason.
Fair enough.
But yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here?
Yeah, so I just make like a lot of video essays on it's kind of morphed into just me talking about anime. Originally, I was talking about like music and movies a lot more. And then I've also have like a One Piece vlog that I've been making a lot of videos about that, which is I've just been kind of reading through One Piece for the first time. And so far I'm like getting pretty far into the series now, so that vlog's gonna be ending soon. But yeah, just kind of talking about anime and just kind of all nerdy things basically.
We'd
I
love to
like
hear
it.
it. Yeah, sure, for sure. Hey, when in doubt, everybody eventually comes to the side of anime once they learn about its greatness. It is what it is.
It's so true.
But yeah, this should be a good discussion. We're gonna talk about our favorite NEN abilities. We're gonna talk about NEN in general, and it should be a good topic for today's episode of Kickback. Before we start talking about NEN abilities, just a quick question for both of y'all. For let's start off with this. Have either of you read more of the Hunter x Hunter manga?
I've read everything that's come out.
What about you, Essays?
Yeah, I've read all the volumes that have come out in English, so I think I'm like 10 chapters behind everything that's been released, but I've read for the most part. I'm caught up.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty caught up. I stopped reading it midway through the current arc. I stopped at that chapter where like there's a bunch of pages with all words. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, RTL
Oh yeah.
can't read, so that doesn't fly.
I'm reading a manga. I'm not reading a book, you know?
RTL needs the pictures,
Fair
otherwise
enough.
he can't understand.
Facts, bro. I'm trying to see these fight scenes, you know what I'm saying? All right. But yeah, I stopped around there. So if Hunter x Hunter, we all know that Bleach got an anime continuation for next year, or I don't know if it's gonna be next year, but they got an anime continuation. If Hunter x Hunter were to get to an anime continuation, would you want that?
Probably not
100%.
yet, because there's not enough. There just wouldn't be enough to make like a lengthy anime. Like, okay, yes, I would like to see more, but at the same time, if you look back at like the 2011 Hunter x Hunter, it kind of had an okay soft ending point, right? Where like Gon meets his dad. It's not the best point to end, but like if you had to force an ending there, it kind of works. There isn't really a place like that yet in Hunter. Like I feel like no one would be happy with where the new anime had to end.
Yeah, the reason I want it is because I want to see the fight between Hisoka and Crollo animated. Like, that's the main reason, like, I hope it gets animated, but I do get, like, hopefully, if they did start to make a production of it, there would be new chapters coming out as well. Is like, if I could have anything happen, that would be it.
Yeah, like I'm kind of in the similar vein. I don't think an anime continuation will happen because the manga continuation is always like it seems like it doesn't have an ending. It seems like they don't know where they're going when it comes to the story. But I would want to see an anime adaptation of the fight between Crollo and Hisoka. And I think, how they could do it is like a movie. Y'all think well like a movie could work of that fight only or like an OVA or something?
It could. I know people didn't like the Hunter x Hunter like on movie that came out. Very much, but I think honestly, I wouldn't mind like a side mini series of just Hisoka's journey trying to like kill all the spiders.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
so cool.
I think we can definitely get Hisoka's backstory because that's covered in the manga, which would be pretty cool. And they can probably link that out a little bit. And then how he joined the spiders and why he's after Crollo, and then lead that up to the Crollo Hisoka fight and how that ends. That would be pretty interesting. Hey,
Okay.
Yeah,
Hunter,
like, if
go ahead.
I was gonna say if we're, like, not gonna get an anime adaptation and, like, the manga's not really gonna continue, then I'd be down for, like, a movie just to see it animated, but I would rather, like, hold off from that in hopes that, like, one day we could get an anime adaptation and the manga will pick back up.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean
it
at the
hasn't been long enough yet, right? Like we had to wait 12 years for like the new anime. And so in 2024 we'll get the next one.
see, I
Yeah,
don't,
sounds
I
right.
don't exactly know because I don't like. I'm not gonna say I'm a genius about how these manga sales for Hunter x Hunter is doing, but I know like a lot of people are off put of the recent arc in the manga because sometimes it seems like they're kind of just talking a lot. Like it's cool to learn about they get very strategic with Karapika and all the other princes and the entire like politics with all that. It's interesting, but it also seems like it's kind of stagnating. Like we don't really care about these characters. I mean, we only have Karapika of the main cast, and it seems like this is taking a lot longer. So I don't know how manga sales are doing to kind of incite an anime continuation.
It reminds me of Hajime no Ippo, kind of, where Ippo, like once Ippo stopped being the main character, people threw a fit, but say it like the manga was still doing well. So I think it's one of those things where public opinion maybe doesn't necessarily match up with what's actually happening. I think the manga's still doing fine. It just isn't coming out very quickly because he can't work on it very quickly.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just, like, if he continues to make chapters, like, I think people are gonna read it because, the anime also was so successful that, like, if people hear that there actually is a lot of story versus just like a little bit after the anime, but like it's like continuing to come out, I'm sure that buzz around it will start to grow. It's mainly just I wish we had a consistent schedule. Like even if it was like once every 2 months we got a chapter. Like I just wish we there was some consistency to when everything is released. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, you
Yeah,
can't get too mad at the guy. The guy's like falling apart from the outside and the
Oh,
inside.
fair enough,
yeah,
fair enough. Like, his health definitely goes first, for sure. But I just obviously, it's just a great story, and I just wanna know what happens.
I think
yeah.
that puts a lot of people off of like I know, I mean I'm ashamed to admit this, but it took me a while after I watched the anime to actually read the manga because I saw so many videos and people talking about like the manga just never updates and like you'll finish it and there just won't be anything new for so long. And so I think that puts a lot of people off as well, knowing that they'll read it and nothing new is going to come out for quite a while.
Yeah, but the only thing, it would be okay if like it didn't seem like it's like it's in a weird situation with the Kurapika arc, whereas in like a series like Berserk, everybody says read it. Like it's still ongoing technically, but nobody cares because Berserk doesn't seem like it's not going anywhere, even though like one chapter comes out every, I mean, maybe one every, maybe two every year. I don't even know if that's even the case. But you just, even though it kind of leaves off with a cliffhanger technically, people are still like, yeah, read it, read it, read it, because it's like very good. It's in a good spot, and even if you're left off with a cliffhanger, you'll feel satisfied. Whereas Hunter x Hunter, like you could just watch the anime and feel satisfied, but then you read the manga, you read the Hisoka fight, you know, that's cool. But then you get to the Prince arc fight, or the Prince arc boat arc, basically, and you're like, there's so much going on, and it seems like they're no going anywhere. There's a bunch of princes, a lot of politics, and then the Ahsoka with the Phantom Troop, they're on the boat as well. It's like, what is going on here? But yeah, yeah. That, I mean, that was a quick talk about Hunter x Hunter. I mean, we always want to talk about it when it comes down to it. But let's start talking about NEN abilities. NEN is the power system with Hunter x Hunter, and it's extremely, extremely intricate with all the different dynamics with Hunter x Hunter abilities. You guys have anything to say about it before we talk about some of our favorites?
Yeah, it's probably the most, at least that I can think of, probably the most complex and well fleshed out power systems like we've ever seen in an anime, with all the drawbacks, the different types, how different types counter each other, how you can't learn. It's sort of like the color wheel where like there's opposites that don't mix. It's a very, at least in my opinion, it's a very interesting power system.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like one of the most, I think it's probably my favorite of all the big shonen battle series. And partially it's because it is so complex. But I also feel like if there are little things you don't understand about it, like it doesn't, at least for me, it wouldn't like ruin my enjoyment of like a specific fight because you still kind of get the basic concept of what's going on. And it's also super well designed in like capping off how strong someone can get, because at a certain point everyone is kind of similar in their nen abilities, and then it's all about how you apply them in battle, which really makes it interesting as the series goes forward, and it keeps it from like turning into necessarily giant mecha battles outside of like when Miruem kind of shows up, and obviously he's kind of overpowered. But other than that, it keeps power scaling down just by the design of the ability, which I think super cool.
It's also very cool to me that it avoids the typical shonen trope of like, I mean, we could probably sit here and name dozens of characters, but Nen is a power system that really is like better with time. Like we see that practice means more than just raw power. Because in terms of raw power, like Gon, he's up there. Like he's impressing people at how like as a child, he's impressing people with the sheer amount of Nen that he has. But we see that he gets absolutely bodied by people who are several times, you know, quote unquote weaker than him. And that's just because Nen is something that mastery and control means a lot more than raw power. Whereas other series like Bleach, you know, I love Bleach, but if we think about it, like Ichigo basically just beats every opponent by overpowering them.
It's
Yeah,
the same thing with My Hero, isn't it? Like the majority of fights, at least in the anime, are it's like they just overpower with a bigger punch. You
yeah.
know?
I mean, the thing about My Hero is like there are some fights where that's not the case. Prime example, Mirio. But then but the key characters that kind of push the series forward, i.e., All Might, Deku, Shigaraki, All for One, they're just big powerhouses that just come by and just wreck everybody. So it's like it just takes away from what they could do with all these overpowered quirks that pretty much puts everybody else to shame.
I think My Hero wants to be like Hunter x Hunter. I mean, I think every anime or every shonen wants to be like Hunter x Hunter, but they imply like there was the Bakugo versus Deku moment, and they try to imply that like, oh, Bakugo mastered his quirk early on, so he should be on equal footing with Deku. But it doesn't make any sense because by like within the show, Deku would be able to just turn Bakugo to like liquid in one punch. So it makes
Yeah.
no sense. They wouldn't be anywhere near each other in a fight.
Yeah,
So
the
Yeah.
it's
logic of
confusing.
My Hero is also weird sometimes, just on a quick tangent, because like constantly in My Hero, everyone is talking about how logical they're being, and then they often do things that are super like not logical, and that like throws me off versus like One Piece just doesn't acknowledge, like One Piece isn't trying to claim that it's the most logical series you've ever seen. So like it makes it more believable. That's like one of the I think one of the more annoying things about uh My Hero, as like a quick tangent right there. I know we should be talking about NEN, but
Nah, we're good. We're good. But yeah, that was it definitely Hunter x Hunter, I would definitely say has one of the more impressive, if not the best, one of the best power systems in shonen. Um and the thing that kind of holds it up, like when it comes to these NEN abilities, the kind of thing you're introduced to if you become a NEN user is the different categories. Now, if so, the categories, just to read them off real quick, we got reinforcement. That's like Gone, pretty simple. You can, power yourself up and stuff. A mission, you can project aura.
Do you mean
Uh,
enhancement?
I'm just reading it off the
Gon's an
wiki.
enhancer.
Yeah, they put reinforcement for some reason. So enhancer,
It
reinforcement,
should
same
be
thing.
enhancement, emission, manipulation, transmutation, specialization, and one
It
more.
says
Conjurer,
materialization.
Oh yeah,
That's what it says on the
conjuration.
wiki.
yeah.
Conjuring. So yeah, you guys can get it. So we got reinforcement slash enhancer. I don't know why the wiki put reinforcement, but it just did. That's going. Do we have a person? Can you all think of someone off top who's who has an emission ability?
Um,
They can project aura,
is
impatient and emotionally disturbed.
isn't the bomber an emitter?
Getting through. He might be.
Yeah, I think you might be. I don't know for a fact, but I was trying to think of an example. But
Well, Leorio's an emitter.
is
That
he?
he's not like an especially impressive one, but he is one. I don't know
Well,
her
I mean,
name. I
he was
don't know
able
her
to
name.
punch Gene, so
Yeah, well,
he
he
must be
does
pretty strong.
solo Gon's dad. I don't remember her
Yeah.
name. Maybe you guys will know. The one lady
Is it
with Kurapika is an emitter who can like hear people's hearts.
Melody.
She's an
Melody.
emitter.
Yeah, her name is Melody.
I think Knuckle might be one. I think Franklin might be one. The
Okay. Their personality trait is impatient and emotionally disturbed. I think that fits with Leorio kind of perfectly.
he's definitely impatient.
Fact. Transformation, transforms aura.
That's Hisoka.
Aang?
Manipulation. One more time.
Oh, I isn't is Killua.
Yeah, I
He
think
is
Kilo is a
transmuter as
conjurer.
well. Is he a
Yeah.
conjurer?
I
Is
always
he a
thought for a while when I first watched it that Kilo was going to be a specialist, but I think he's. I thought he was an emitter and a conjurer, but I don't remember now.
I know he's a conjurer because he transforms his aura to lightning. So
Yeah, maybe he.
he's
Well, yeah, no, because he's like the opposite of Gon. So he is. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
He's Killua's a transmutation is his.
yeah, transmuter is
Yeah.
that the kind? I don't know. See, the
Wait, I thought
wiki
that's
just
what we
has
were
different
talking
words, so
about.
I'm just going off that. But
I
yeah,
don't remember
so
what.
Kilo could change the water taste. I think
Yeah.
that's what
So
it happened anywhere.
yeah, so transmutation is different than conjurer.
Oh, I
I
thought we were
think
talking about transmutation.
yeah, I
Yeah,
meant
okay. Yeah,
transmutation. Yeah,
perfect.
materialization is conjurer on this, so that's
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
No,
Um,
he's also a transmutation, isn't he?
Yeah.
He
I think
changes the quality of
Hisoka
his
and
nen to be like rubber or gum.
oh yeah,
yeah.
he is the same thing
Uh
as Kilo. You're right. You're right.
isn't Conjurer's like Karapika, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Or
Well,
is he
he's technically a conjurer, and then when he puts on his Kurta eyes, he becomes a
yeah,
specialist.
he makes people think
yeah,
he's a
yeah.
manipulator, but he's a conjurer, and then he's a specialist.
Man,
Yeah. He's kind
Karapika
of
got them.
crazy.
Yeah, Karapika. Well, he's in there. He does his thing. And
I
mess with
also think, oh my god, why can't I remember his name? Crollo is a conjurer because he summons a book of Nen to use abilities from.
We got manipulation. Manipulates objects and living beings. The only one I could think of off top is the guy that could control dogs, and he died in the York New Arc.
Yeah, poor guy.
But I can't think of any other
Wait, manipulators?
Yeah, I'm trying
That's
to think
most
of
of
more.
the Zoldyck family. That's Illumi, Kaluto,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the one,
big example.
the ant whose name I can never remember, the royal guard, the butterfly guy.
Poof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ikalgo's one of those. That's another cool thing. There's a lot of users of every type of Nen. Oh,
Because
also,
everyone can use every type.
my favorite Nen ability is a
Yeah.
manipulation ability. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, that's the next question. What would you specialist is kind of obvious, but other than specialist, like what would you guys want for a NEN type?
I would probably want enhancement just because it's the easiest to use and it's pretty cool to be able to just like punch a hole in someone.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to read off the natures of each one real quick of the type of people who have these type of abilities?
Sure.
Sure.
All right. So for enhancers, they are honest and very simple minded, very going like. Admission, impatient, emotionally disturbed. Transmuters are unstable and known for being whimsical liars. What was one day precious for them can become trash the next day. Uh, Manipulators are reasoners and advance at their own pace. And materializers are known for being nervous. And specialists are individualistic and charismatic. Okay. All right. So, yeah. You said you
Specialists
wanted
are
to
pretty
be.
damn rare.
Oh yeah. If you so you said enhancer, right, Squid?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know how good I would be at using Nen, so I feel like the safe bet is just going with the easiest type of Nen to use.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What about you, essays?
Yeah, the descriptions you just gave, I feel like I would be in the manipulator category, but I would want to be like transmutation because I'd want to be like Hisoka or
Oh, I
Kahlua.
think if we're going off of that, then I'm pretty sure I would be in a transmutation.
You're definitely a transmit.
I was just going off what I wanted.
Yeah, if you had to pick what you wanted, though, essays, would you?
Yeah,
You said you would be.
it'd either be transmutation or conjurer probably. Because
Okay.
those are just like my favorite. Like it would be sweet to have bungee gum or something like that, or to be able to like just conjure up any kind of a weapon. I think would be pretty sweet.
Okay.
All I'm
trying
saying also is the strongest human Nen user we've ever seen was an enhancer, so that's pretty cool.
Who's that? Who are you thinking?
Netero. You think there's a human
Was
stronger
he
than
an
Netero?
Oh yeah, he was an enhancer. He was an enhancer. No, I just didn't remember what he was. I mean, they try to say his son is like on the same level.
Well, I meant in the scene in the anime.
Fair enough.
Other than Leorio, of course.
Other than Leorio. For me, I probably would go transmuter personally. Being able to transform your aura to anything you want is kind of, you can do a lot of stuff with that. I feel like you can do a lot of
the thing,
stuff
I mean, it's Hunter. You wouldn't. I mean, it would be there's like it's not limitless, right? You couldn't transform it into like too crazy of stuff without being like a super master of Nen.
Yeah, I'm like I definitely know that. Like it, but it's still based on what you want because I think Killua was like he wanted some lightning type thing, so he had like lightning based Nen. And then Hisoka, I forgot what they said about why he created Bungee Gum. I think it had something to do with his backstory,
Because
but
he was very poor when he was a kid, and he like liked bubble gum. That's his like whole story. And I'm pretty sure he was like a circus kid, wasn't he? That's why he's a clown.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was in like the circus.
He was
Yeah,
like a poor kid traveling with the circus who occasionally got bubble gum as like a special surprise, and so he loved that gum and made his Nen power after it. And it turned
wasn't
out to be pretty
his
sick.
like side like backstory, wasn't it written by the author of Tokyo Ghoul?
I don't
I
remember.
feel like that I'm pretty sure that is the case where it was like whatever the one shot of Hisoka's backstory. I think it was drawn or written by the author of Tokyo Ghoul.
interesting. I had no idea.
I don't
Hoaxo keeps
know
on
how.
saying Boruto did Nen better. I don't know why he keeps on spamming that, but okay.
I mean, he's right, but you don't need to say it.
But yeah, I didn't know that. I have no idea to be honest. So that's a pretty interesting fact for sure. Okay, so those are the different categories when it comes to Nen. Now let's talk about some of the Nen abilities that we think are the best. Who essays? Why don't you start?
Yeah, I think my favorite when watching the show, I really enjoy Karapika and his chains, and I obviously he's a specialty, but just it really pushes the limits of the rules that are on a character with their Nen abilities. So I really enjoy like how he interacts with the troop, and I think it fits his character really well. Um, Other ones that I really enjoyed, um,
Kurapika is a
I,
very solid one.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
will say the thing about Karapikas is that there's so much limitation to that strength though.
yeah.
Like
Well, yeah, he's a perfect example of what is it's called. I don't want to say it's your covenant. What is it called? Like what you give up in return for a Nen to make it stronger. I forget what it's called. I don't think it's covenant. I think that's from something else.
Do they just call it contracts or do
No,
they
it
not call it?
has a name, but I don't remember what it's called. But Kurapika is a really good example of
uh
like giving up an insane amount for like unbeatable strength, pretty much.
Yeah, for like a very specific reason. And so it's like I want to see him and it's we're kind of getting it in this arc right now, but like when he what's going to happen when he gets in a situation that doesn't involve any troop members? Like how is he going to use his net? Is he going to be able to overcome insane odds and like in the end would it be better off for him to choose a different power that didn't utilize a very specific, set of terms. So I think like narratively, his is super interesting. I also like another funny one is the like cheetah chimera ant, and I just think it's funny because he like doesn't really think about his like special Nen ability when he like what they go and it's like they play a game of tag.
Well, yeah, he it was like given to him, right? So I think who
Yeah.
I forget her name, but the person who gave it to him was like, "You're fast, so like tag, I guess."
Yeah, and it's like a good example that if you don't choose the right thing for your Nen ability, then you're just screwed. Like you just it might not be that beneficial. And I think that's a
yeah.
good example of it, even though his is like kind of lame compared to so many
It
others.
is covenant, by the way. It's restrictions and
Oh,
covenants that you
oh right.
put in place to like make yourself more powerful.
Yeah, to go back to Karapika, like I would say the thing is like I would say narratively wise, it is very interesting. Nen, it's an ability that I would not want to use because I feel like it would obviously require a ton of resolve, and there's a special characteristic considering he has this awakened form every time his eyes go scarlet. So there's that. Uh, talk about his chains. It's kind of sneaky though. Those chains, I would say that because it makes people think it's a what was it? Manipulating type ability. Was it manipulation? Did he say, or was it transmuter or conjure? What was it? What was it again?
So his ability is conjurer, but people often think it's manipulation because you can probably like manipulate chains
They
and just
think he's
keep chains on
manipulating
you.
actual chains because
Yeah.
he's keeping them visible at all times, but they're not
Yes.
actually real.
So yeah, I like that aspect. You obviously you could be very sneaky with it, and even if people kind of caught on, the actual chains are like invisible, so it's like can't really do anything
Yeah, you got to use
regardless.
Gyo to see them.
Yeah, so yeah, I would like them. Um, one I do want to give a shout for sure is Nove's NEN ability, where he was it. I'm always a fan of transportation type abilities. It would require you to get to the location first before you transport there, but being able to transport people, being able to transport yourself to different locations, you might not be the strongest, but it's super convenient ability to have, and once mastered, you could probably be pretty dangerous with it. With like where you place people and how you trap people and everything. Too bad like Nove was an absolute scaredy cat once he met the royal guards, but to be fair, they were kind of terrifying.
They weren't even people.
Facts. Man was scared out of his mind. Couldn't really do anything but transport people at that point.
Yeah, his hair turned white.
Man aged like 20 years.
That happened not only to him, but that also happened to a chimera ant where they just instantly aged like decades.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, what
yeah.
was that? What character was that? What was his name?
I don't remember him, but he was
Something Helm, Wolf.
Wolfen?
Something
Welfen?
like that.
dude saw
Something. It's
Meruem
something.
once and was just like, I'm out.
He's like, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I mean, fair
situation
enough.
was, he was there and Merum, I think, Merum was in front of him, and then he had to think of a reason why Merum shouldn't kill him because he's a traitor. And then he said that certain name, and it awoke all Merum's memories. That was a very cinematic moment when that happened.
Imagine being
Yeah.
so scared, just all your hair falls out and you age like 30 years.
Yeah.
Hey, the
Well,
lead
and
up.
honestly, I feel like the moment in the show when Pedo shows up and just like flies over and attacks Kite and everyone, like that moment's terrifying.
Yeah, well, imagine like Gon, Killua, Kite. They've gone through, they're just bodying these stupid ants. They're like, what are these dumb things? I mean, they've had a little bit of trouble with them, but for the most part, the ants they've seen so far have just been like gimmicks they have to overcome, like Killua and the darts, or the sniper, or like Gon when he's fighting like a roly poly bug. But then imagine seeing Pito just fly in and chop Kite's arm off and be like, oh shit, we're done.
Yeah,
You
and
die.
just like it, yeah, in that scene, like just the look she gives, it's like they're like, oh shit, this is infinitely stronger than anything we've encountered up
Killua
until this point.
punches Gon in the back of the head and literally puts him into a coma for like 4 days.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how they portrayed the royal ant, and even Netro said Pito was stronger than him. So it's like the strongest human wasn't as strong as a subordinate to the main boss. Like,
But that's what's so
and
cool
then
about Hunter x Hunter is because Netro would have bodied her in a fight because Nen is all about control and mastery.
after he worked out first, yeah, after he kind of worked
Yeah.
back into his prime.
That's what's crazy about Netro is like we didn't ever get to see him at his peak. How strong was this fool like 50 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, to see him face Merum in that situation, I don't know. It would be a tough situation because even though we know that there's a see, that's also what pisses me off. there's a character that's stronger than Netero, but it seems like we'll never be able to meet him. The Grandpa Zoldyck. It's like we got the hype. It's just we haven't met. We're not going to be able to learn anything about him, considering how the story's going.
Wait, Grandpa's? You mean the? Do you?
The great grandpa?
Yeah,
the
do you mean
great
great?
grandpa?
Yeah, I was gonna say what? The grandpa
Yeah.
like literally admits he's like, yeah, no, I'm not. I can't do this.
Yeah, great grandpa Zoldyck. That one.
Yeah, who's just like in the background of a picture in the
Yeah,
anime.
he's just like bopping around. He's like 160 years old.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's this character. He's stronger than Netero. I was like, wow, we ain't gonna meet him.
Imagine being Netero and being such a master of like martial arts and nen and just like life that your leg gets chopped off, and to stop the bleeding you just smack your thigh a little bit and it just closes itself up.
Yeah.
A man has perfect controls of his muscles. That is facts. All right. So Squid, what is an ability that you think should be talked about?
Well, without a doubt, my favorite nen ability in the whole show is Deep Purple, which is Morel's nen ability, where he can transmute his nen into smoke and control it. I mean, I feel like that's literally my profile picture on YouTube is a picture of Moro. My favorite mushroom is a Moro mushroom. So I don't. This to me is like probably. I think he even might say in the show or something that he has yet to meet a nen user that's as versatile as himself, because he can literally do anything with his smoke. We see him do all kinds of crazy shit. On top of that, homie's got a pipe that's like bigger than himself that he could just bash you with.
Yeah. Having a nen ability that is multi-purpose is definitely good, especially in the Hunter x Hunter world where strategy, control, we've been talking about is like everything. And if you have like the best multi-purpose nen ability, you could understand why Netero picked him to join him in this mission.
Well, yeah, I mean, even just the fact that his nen was able to impress one of the royal guard, I mean, that should say a lot. Like, because those guys, they're just built different. So if your nen as like a human can impress them, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, Moro definitely got balls. He definitely got balls.
His ability is awesome.
He's also like jacked beyond belief. He is so muscular that his muscles have muscles that we've never seen.
Oh, speaking of that, I remember the scene where he said, all right, Gon, if you want to do it, you got to show me what you got. And Gon was literally about to kill Morel in one punch. And it was the craziest little scene for Gon. I was like, damn. And then Killua had to say, Gon, relax. Because like, this dude's about to die.
Maybe I shouldn't have told this kid to punch me really hard.
Imagine.
I like how Morel was like not even going to use it, and then he was like, I'm just going to flex and just take this one to the gut.
You thought. You really thought. Oh, man. Imagine if Morel just died at that moment. That would have been bad. Like, oh, crap. Gon killed Morel.
Oh, God. No, that was probably like a smoke clone. The real Morel was like a mile away.
Man really thought he was just about to take Gon's punch and just be on his way.
That's why Gon's the best main character. It's because people are like, you're a kid, I'm underestimating you. And then they're like, oh my God, you've seen things that even I couldn't imagine.
How much stuff did he see that other people couldn't imagine? He saw Kite get his arm ripped off.
Yeah, well, he also saw, he literally, in a fight, like got his own hands blown off. He got his voice box crushed. He's seen like countless people get murdered. Like he's not like most kids. He's seen. I guarantee you something he hasn't seen, or he's seen that Morel hasn't seen, is the guard dog of the Zoldyck family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Zoldyck mansion's open to everybody.
Well, open to everyone,
but not past the.
Yeah, you can't go. You can't actually go up there. You can just open the gate. You have to still get past the Doge.
Fair. I feel like Morel could open the gate, would be fine. He got the skills.
I feel like Morel would have absolutely no interest in going to the Zoldyck mansion. He probably doesn't like it.
Oh, no. I think he could take the butler.
Oh, what?
Oh,
of course.
Yeah.
Goto Goto is like my probably third or fourth favorite character. I absolutely love his ability, like because it's not even really an ability. But yeah, no, Morel bodies him.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I think
He got cooked by Hisoka.
Yeah, I think Morel's ability to not only is it just cool because it's like smoke, but it is like it shows how you have to, you can use the implications of your ability in so many different ways. And like a lot of shows do that. And you have like unique ways, like Mirio's an example of that in My Hero. But in the Nen abilities, it's like every single character has a really unique ability that they like have come up with this crazy way to use it, and Morel's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, another person's Nen ability that is pretty notable is Knuckle. Knuckles' Nen ability. It's the crazy thing about it is throughout the series. I mean, he starts off he used it on Gon, and Gon pretty much couldn't use Nen. So he like once he punches you, you're done. But the bad thing about it is he had to deal with like a royal guard who had ridiculous amount of Nen. So on most people who doesn't have a ridiculous amount of Nen, this ability would be ridiculous to them. Like it's nothing. You can't really do anything if he punches you. And he's not even that strong himself compared to like some of the more OP, stronger characters. But it's just a very what's the word I'm looking for?
Wait,
Is
what?
it broken ability? Knuckles' Nen ability.
I don't think it's you mean broken like overpowered?
I don't. I guess overpowered because you can't really do anything once you get punched. And if you don't have a crazy amount of Nen like the Royal Guards did, then you're kind of SOL.
I mean the trade off is that not you like Knuckle has to be able to like come up to you and punch you without dying. And he's
Yeah,
relatively weak actually compared to a lot of people.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like he has this ability, and I think that's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Like even if you have some broken ability, if you yourself you can like have this broken ability, but if you yourself is not inherently strong, you can't really use it to its full extent. But fortunately for Knuckle, he had people like that invisible dude to kind of shield him from dying like 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. It's funny that
And
that
if
weird cat comes out of Knuckle. You wouldn't expect it.
Yeah. And if Knuckle, even if he punches you, if you are just stronger than him and you can overwhelm him pretty quickly, like you can either run away and like kind of, stay still because he has to be within a certain range, but I feel like his ability versus like the stronger characters we've met would still get like he'd be beaten pretty easily, even though his ability is like pretty overpowered almost.
Well, yeah, imagine him going up against Morel where he runs up, punches Morel, seals his Nen, and then Morel just bonks him on the head with his pipe and kills him, and then the Nen, and it's like, okay, well, I would still win.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Knuckle has an ability that if he's relatively close, like if it's not too far off in strength and he could survive a good amount of time, with his ability he would win that fight 9 out of the 10 times unless they get a lucky hit.
I feel
Because he
like
just got to survive long enough.
Knuckles' like ultimate thing would be like his character arc completion would be he goes to face someone that's too strong and is a threat no one can like really deal with, and he dies, and then his Nen becomes stronger in death and like fully seals off the person's Nen. That's about the best Knuckle could do.
Yeah, I mean they were planning on Knuckle getting a hit on Meruem. That was not gonna work.
Yeah, no, I mean Knuckles is fine. I like his Nen ability.
Yeah, and another ability that I like is the in the York New arc, the like fortune teller or like who could see the future that
Oh,
Crollo steals.
Neon. Her
Yeah,
name is
like
Neon.
yeah, her ability is another like example of how like Nen covers literally everything. and how you can have an ability like that where you can use it to just like they make profit off of that ability. Like they don't use it in a fight, they just use it to make money and keep their like the underground status. Um which
We
is
even
just a
saw
cool example.
we saw Gon and Killua use Nen to make money instead of fight when they were going and looking around for like antiques at that market.
Yeah.
So Nen is pretty cool, pretty versatile thing. I like as well another one that I feel like, I mean, people probably talk about it, but an ability that I really like is crazy slots. I mean,
Kite.
yeah, maybe not the most convenient to have at times, but definitely a sick ability. It gives them how many? It's 9 weapons, right?
I think so, yeah.
And then he
Yeah,
has
we
to
only got to see like what, like 2?
We saw 3 at least,
yeah,
right?
we
Like
saw
we
at
saw the
least
gun,
3.
we saw the scythe, and then the last one, which we didn't really get to see what it does, but all we know is that that's the number that he gets when he really wants to live or whatever. That's what Gene said at the end of the series, and that's like how Kite survives basically.
And it won't disappear until it's used. So he can't get a new one until he's
Yeah.
used the one he has. But I
Mhm.
mean, they're pretty insane. We saw him with his scythe literally cut down like 30 ants and a forest by just spinning in a circle.
Yeah, and it's like it's also really funny when like rolls a number or whatever, and then he's like upset about it, and then Gon and Killua are like, "You're the one who designed it that way. Like, why are you getting upset? Like, that's your own fault."
I know it really is just another great example of like how he made his Nen a little bit stronger. He added another restriction to it that made it maybe not as convenient, but in the end probably boosted its power by quite a bit. I like how his Nen ability also like weirdly has a personality too and seems to actively dislike Kite.
Huh.
Yeah, which is also like what do you guys think of Nen beasts as well? That's kind of like been introduced in the manga.
Um, Pretty interesting.
Like I
Something
think
that I want to see more of before I really pass judgment, I guess.
yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting concept right away to like thinking of Nen as like almost having a personality of its own, like you said, with Kite's ability and how Nen kind of lingers after you die, or it can linger after you die and stuff. So I just think like there's so many other ways that we can see Nen be used. And if the manga does continue, obviously we'll see even more implications with Nen beasts. But then I am just like it could go a number of different ways once they get to the Dark Continent because that like could go anywhere the story could.
Yeah, Nen seems like one of those things where it almost seems something like akin to like gravity or like something it will just exist. Like it's gonna be around and people just sort of are using it a little bit, but it's not like I think a lot of people get the misconception. I think a lot of people think that all Nen comes like from people, that people create Nen. And I'm pretty sure it's like the exact opposite. I think
Um,
people are just tapping into Nen that already exists.
yeah, I think it's something like that. I don't think everybody will be able to use Nen one day because you have to first and foremost learn about Nen, and the only people who really do that are need to know someone else, or there's even another exam after the Hunter exam, and your exam after the Hunter exam is to learn about Nen and then eventually master it. So it's like there's so much steps to even knowing and learning about Nen that I think it's pretty much
I
impossible for
feel like
common people to learn about it.
the show kind of implies, though, that there's a way to get around that because we see a lot of people who definitely, like, personality wise and power wise, probably wouldn't have passed any sort of, like, test to grant you Nen. So there's probably some other way that if you're, like, a gross idiot that you could get your hands on Nen. I'm sure it would involve, like, a lot of money and effort and danger, but something
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I
I've
feel
always
like
thought was interesting was Killua's family, because they can obviously all use Nen, but it didn't seem like Killua was really that knowledgeable about Nen at all before. Oh my God, what's his name? What was the guy that taught Gon and Killua about Nen with the glasses?
Yeah, I don't remember his name at all.
What is his
Han?
name?
Is it something like Han? I feel like he's the type of person that name would be Han.
I'm gonna look it up.
Can't remember.
Wing.
See, I was
His
close.
name's Wing. So,
Yeah.
but I feel like Killua didn't really. So I wonder if like the Zoldyck family doesn't teach Nen until a certain. Because it seems like with everything else Killua's gone through that he should have known about Nen. So I wonder if they have like some own like their own internal test that they do to pass down Nen. I don't know, something interesting you can think about.
Yeah,
though.
and I think the Zoltecs are also just like really protective of Killua, and they might have been nervous to like give him this ability that they obviously knew he had like an insane aptitude for. And I think most people like have like some type of aura within them, but it's just it can be incredibly hard to access, and it takes a small percentage of people to actually be able to use, or obviously you have to go through tons and tons of training to be able to use it. But I feel like it does, like everyone has it, and I feel like everyone probably has the potential to be able to access it in some capability, but it just would take a lot of practice, and you'd have to meet a teacher.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people probably might not even have enough Nen to like form any sort of ability, but they probably could use things like Gyo,
Yeah.
like and
Yeah.
just not. But like if you think about if someone came to you and was like, "Well, you have enough Nen to use like N and Gyo, which are like these two things, but you're gonna have to train hard for like 20 years because you're not talented." Like, would you even do it? Probably not.
Probably
I mean,
not.
if it gives you like an enhancement over normal people, then yeah, I would learn it
But
here
it
and there.
wouldn't,
But
because Nen is really like Nen is really not like if you don't even have enough Nen to manifest like an ability, it's really not worth like the effort. It's better for you to just live a normal Nen free life and not accidentally get roped into with people like Hisoka.
I mean, there are fundamental things that like you said, you could learn, such as Gyo. Um,
Well, I don't know
uh,
if you could. That's just speculation. I don't know
I
if
mean, at the end of the day, like I agree, Nens could be like the type of inner energy source, like key, kind of like that. It could be something that everybody has. Not everybody knows about it because you got to learn it through someone who already knows about it, who's willing to tell you about it.
well, I think that's what
But
On was, wasn't it? Was On was like the part of Nen where like desperate people would use if you weren't good enough with normal Nen, and On was like the dark side of Nen.
Yeah, I'm not
what
sure.
on
Yeah, On was like,
En
huh?
En on
No, On. On.
Yeah, I think there is
yeah
N, which is
Yeah,
EN.
N
That
is
is
that,
like an
but On
ability
is
that they use.
On. It's what
yeah I
Netero's
don't
like
think
student used and turned to the dark side and used On, and like when he killed Netero and Gon and Killua. It's remember Gon
oh
used On as
is
well.
that the one in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see anything about it in the wiki, so I have no idea. I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I don't know. The one I really like when it comes to the innate abilities, I definitely like Kilua's ability. Because when it comes down to it, the best element in anime is definitely lightning, no questions asked. So yeah, that's pretty badass. And the fact that he can he doesn't react based on his own thinking. He reacts off like some impulse that when anytime like they make a movement, he automatically goes and attacks. So that's a very interesting thing for Killua. I remember when he created that little lightning circle, and then anytime what's his name, Poof, tried to get in there, he got completely
He
obliterated
got
anytime he entered the
tased.
circle. So yeah, I hands down love Killua's little lightning ability.
Yeah, I mean, Yuppie said that he was helpless against Killua.
Yeah,
Killua's kind of a funny character. Like, if he's fighting someone that's really strong, like Yuppie, Killua can't really do anything to Yuppie, like anything serious, but Yuppie also couldn't do anything to him. And so Killua was basically just like a very annoying thing. Like, he wasn't a super serious threat, but he also couldn't be killed.
yeah. Like Killua didn't get to like he was a prodigy. We are like it was already established he's a prodigy, but he wasn't super OP because he was still very young. I mean, it took Gon to risk his own life to take down a royal guard, so it made sense that Killua wasn't able to do anything crazy, but definitely he was able to hold his own, like against the other two royal guards he faced off against.
Yeah, I mean, Gon would have died if uh Killua's sister wasn't there. Like, if their Alika wasn't there, and her ability is also pretty cool. Um, Gon most certainly would have died
Oh, dude, this is a chance for me to be
eventually.
a turbo nerd and say, like, actually, Aluka doesn't have any Nen abilities. It's Nanika.
Oh, fair enough.
Something,
Yeah,
something.
well, isn't. So she's, like, possessed by a thing from the Dark Continent, and that's what actually uses Nen?
Yeah,
She's just
I
like
think so.
or he, well, I guess he prefers she. She's just like a little kid possessed by like a demon god from another world.
Hmm.
Yeah, something like that. But even that demon god has the same like person, has the same emotions and like lifeline as Aluka. So she sees Killua as a brother as well.
Yeah,
That's why
well,
they.
I think, I mean, I guess it's like a spoiler, but I mean, in the context of like a creature from the Dark Continent, it's like very simple and weak. It's not exactly like a. It's like the Dark Continent equivalent of like a single cell organism.
Even then, even though I mean that power is ridiculous. I mean the Chimera ants were not even close to the strongest in the Dark Continent. So
Yeah.
with all that hype with the Dark Continent, there's creatures stronger than Meruem on the Dark Continent, and I feel like we'll never be able to explore it properly.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
think
mean,
the
there's
Dark Continent's
probably
ever really gonna be a place where people go and like hang out. I think it's gonna be like a scary journey to go and grab like some dark fruit and come back or something.
I mean,
yeah,
Jing wants to go there.
Yeah, but
yeah.
he's
I
an
feel like they
insane
want to go
person.
there. I
Facts.
feel like they're gonna go there and just realize that they're just like dwarfed. Their Nen abilities are just not even close to anything that actually exists in the
Well,
Dark Continent.
they're all going there. I forgot the reason why Jing and Netero's son is going there, but they're going there for a reason. Because I forgot why though. Y'all remember?
I don't actually.
I mean, I think Gene just wants to
I think he's
explore it.
always wanted to go like to
Yeah.
some
No,
level.
something happened. There's something happened, and then I think now they're like people were thinking about going to the Dark Continent. I think there's I forgot why, but Jing decided to team up with Netero's son and a bunch of other people that's
Yeah,
on the team, and they're
Pariston, right? Gene and
yeah,
Pariston are
Jing,
together.
Pariston, Netero's son. They're all going to go to the Dark Continent, but it's for a specific reason because something is going to happen, or maybe they're going to try to learn more about the Chimera. I forgot what it was though. I
Well, I
think it was
think
something
Jin's
important.
also. I mean, he's kind of like an explorer guy, anyways.
Yeah,
He probably just wants to go learn more about the Dark Continent.
Yeah, I think he might be kind of hopping on everybody else. Like the reason he's like just going at this current time is because it's just a good opportunity to be able to go there. But there is a reason. I can't remember why Netero's son wants to
yeah.
go.
It was pretty important. I just completely forgot. And that's another thing about Hunter x Hunter is like the thing about Gon is like he wanted to find his dad. He found his dad and all, but we can't really see what he wants to do. Like maybe he wants to be a great hunter. That can be like something propelling his story. But as of right now, we don't know what Gon and Killua want to do because it seems like Gon seems like the type of character that once he's done what he had to do, he's satisfied.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
hope they
like,
don't do anything else. I hope they enjoy their childhood and
I mean,
go like go somewhere else.
well, he is the protagonist. We can't continue the story without the protagonist.
I mean, I
Protagonists
feel
can
like if the
change.
manga does continue, there's a big chance for a time skip, right? Like,
It's
wouldn't
gonna
you guys
skip
kind of want
until
to see
Gon
them?
has like mega muscles and infinite hair again.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But like if
Uh,
they were both teenagers, like imagine their strength then because they're literally like 12 or I mean, I think they might be at this point in the story like 13, I
I
guess,
could
but
see something cool where, Gon finds his dad and he's like, I'm satisfied. And then we switch over to Gin's perspective. Like, we see them going to the Dark Continent and doing their thing. Then we flash back and they haven't come back. So now it's time skip. Gon and Killua have powered up and are going to go look for him. That'd be pretty cool.
could happen.
yeah, that would be an interesting way to do it. Also, like a big plot point though is Kurapika, because he's also a protagonist. Leorio,
Yeah.
he comes in when he needs to, but Kurapika with the spider side arc and the entire thing with Hisoka, that definitely needs
Well,
to be addressed.
you know the backstory of Leorio, right?
Yeah.
He's the king of the Dark Continent. He's just messing around. He's actually just waiting.
Just waiting for
When they
his
get to
perfect
the
time.
end of the Isekai dungeon that is the Dark Continent, Leorio will be waiting there.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
That would be so sick. Poor guy,
Right?
dude. He deserves something.
That would be the biggest twist, like for real. Oh man, and Gon has to find his waifu too.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
He's 12.
Well,
yeah,
and
but
he can even use NEN right now, so he's gonna have to figure out how to do that.
watch him come back as a totally different type of NEN user.
Watch him come back and he's just like Killua's baggage handler. He just carries Killua's stuff. Killua's the new protagonist.
Yeah.
Bro, I feel like Killua is gonna go. Like, we could see Killua's like height. Eventually, he's gonna surpass all the Zoldycks and be stronger than Netero. Like, I'm excited for Killua if his story continues.
I
for
really
sure.
want Killua to die.
What? Why?
Because I think it would be a touching story moment if he made the ultimate sacrifice for Gon.
He already made not really a sacrifice, but he already did a lot for Gon.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be better if Gon sacrificed himself because he's kind of
No, Gon's
Yeah,
Gon's
there
a
we
selfish
He was
character.
kind of-
He wouldn't do that.
He would.
But that's why it would mean so much is because eventually he realizes, right?
Yeah, but then
Like
Gon would
his
be dead.
selfishness. Yeah, well then it'd be the end of the series.
I mean, if Gon died for Killua, and then we see Killua do the self-sacrifice, not the self-sacrifice, but the NEN contract where he puts all his NEN into one thing and becomes like a lightning god, that'd be pretty dope.
Here's what we need to see. They go up against like the new Meruem, someone crazy scary, and
the Dark Continent King.
Yeah, and they both are simultaneously decide I'm gonna sacrifice myself for the other one. And so they both throw themselves in front of the attack and they both die at the same time and their sacrifice was meaningless.
Oh, man, that's a dark note
Series
for Hunter
over.
x Hunter. That's a dark note for Hunter x Hunter. That's probably the worst ending in shonen history if both the protagonists die.
And it turns out it was somehow Gon's dad who killed him.
Oh my god, that would just be horrible, honestly. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about?
We got to give an honorable mention to Netero's
Crollo.
ability. Oh.
I thought you say Crollo.
Well, yeah, him. I feel we talked about him a little bit earlier, but Netero has
Crollo
this
for sure.
scary golden statue for some reason. Crollo has a very cool. Crollo probably has my favorite, like, moment in the whole series when he fights Hisoka, and like out Hisoka's Hisoka.
Yeah, we actually had someone straight out beat Hisoka. Like that needs to get animated. Like, what are y'all doing?
I just like that
fine.
Crollo was like, beat Hisoka and was like, Hisoka, you were an idiot if you thought I was gonna fight you on my own. I know how scary you are, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it again shows like even that late in the series for a character that we've seen that's so strong in Hisoka to have him if the circumstances are not like good enough for your Nen ability and someone plans it out, even if you, because I think Crollo and Hisoka are pretty similar in power level, like just anyways, but like Hisoka got destroyed because Crollo was able to plan everything out. And so it doesn't, you can't just punch your way out of that one, you know?
Yeah, I mean, at the point where you're pretty close in fighting ability, it just comes down to, who can take advantage of their NEM better. And Crollo's ability is ridiculous. Like it's
Yeah,
broken. So
and the fact that he was able to use just the entire stadium to his advantage, like just little things like that can sway a fight
Well,
so
he
much
also
in
was
Hunter x
getting
Hunter.
help too from other people.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
I wonder. I'm curious. In the long run, like Hisoka was pretty. The weird thing about Hisoka's Nen, right, is he does texture surprise, and he'll like put it on his arm and be like, "Oh, no big deal. It looks normal," but I don't think it is normal. Like I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, Hisoka's still missing like half his face. Because I don't think he can actually heal himself. He's just like it's like putting makeup on, basically.
yeah, I'm sure Hisoka met a NEN user that could heal him though. Like
I
I'm
was gonna
sure that
say I
would
think
have
it would
been.
be cool if like we see another confrontation with Hisoka where he has to like remove all the nen he has on himself to use, and we just see that he's just like horribly disfigured from all his fights, and that he actually looks nothing like we thought he did. That'd be pretty sick because he already looks
That'd be
horrifying. He looks like
crazy.
a Halloween decoration.
Yeah, I'm surprised Hisoka never challenged Netero to a fight. You know,
I'm
He
feel
said
like
he wanted to in the very beginning,
Yeah,
like when they're all talking, but I feel like he still would have. I feel like Bungee Gum does not
I think
suit well against
Hisoka
Netero.
like wanted to fight against the idea of Netero, and then he probably met Netero and was like, "Oh, never mind."
yeah, I'm gonna have no chance.
Netero wouldn't even need to use Nen on Hisoka.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Crollo's, Netero's abilities, those are both pretty broken.
I mean,
Um,
Krollos is unlike other abilities where it really doesn't have like a cap for how powerful it could be. Real like not not in the same way that other people like your Nen can get stronger by practicing, but I don't think there's anyone whose Nen can get stronger as quickly as Krollo's ability could.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean, if he
another
just gets strong abilities, like he can, it's yeah, you're right. It's like, you know, Kurapika is limited by the chains that he has, but Crollo can always go out and get another ability that he could use in a specific situation.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it just his book just gets bigger. I don't think it has like only a certain amount of pages in it.
yeah, and now the man can read the future, so he will never be
I
surprised.
would. It would be so funny if we like flash back to the Netero Meruem fight, and you just see Crollo like hiding in the corner with his book out, and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm stealing that one," and now he has Netero's
Yeah,
ability.
that'd be
Imagine.
amazing.
But also honorable mention to Genthru's ability, with the explosions and whatnot.
Yeah, Bomber.
Yeah, if
Yeah, that's a
that's
unique ability.
He was a good example of when you make your ability too complex, it starts to fall off in terms of like its actual power. Um, but he was honestly he was one of my favorite like mini antagonists. I guess not even he was an antagonist for like a whole arc really. I
Yeah,
loved
it's
him.
like in any other show, he would be like one of the best antagonists in that series. But in the context of Hunter x Hunter, when you have Crollo, Hisoka, and Meruem, he like feels below average.
I his fight with it's kind of funny. We talked about My Hero earlier, but if you think the fight for Bakugo versus the one girl, the ugly girl,
Uraraka.
yeah, there's like
Mhm.
parallels there between Genthru and Gon's fight where Genthru seems like just this asshole, but he's actually like treating Gon with respect and taking him very seriously. And then My Hero tried to do like a terrible copy of that. But I love getting through. One of the most intimidating humans we ever saw.
Yeah, ability for sure. Like you don't want to get on this dude's bad side, like at all.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to let him touch you.
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot. I don't remember how to say it. Do you guys remember the weird name of Pito's Nen? It's like Turpus something.
Wasn't it like Dr. Blythe or something?
No, that's one of the like forms of it. But her whole ability is like marionettes.
Yeah, her ability is super cool.
I thought she was cool because if you think about it, at the end of the day, we didn't see any of the ants like at their. Well, they were like babies. They were like children. I mean, we talk about how young Gon and Killua were, but Meruem and his Royal Guard were like months or like weeks old at most. And they already had this insane mastery over Nen. Dude, Dark Continent
That's
shit
also
is scary.
what's so it's so scary about the Dark Continent is like it's almost guaranteed that there's more Chimera ants on the Dark Continent, and so it's like imagine. I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say I think at this point Chimera ants are like small fry on the Dark Continent.
Yeah, they're nowhere close to being one of the stronger. I think they said they're like A rank.
But I feel like if Meruem though, like imagine if he was, he'd been alive for like 15 years or whatever, and he's in the middle of his prime. Like imagine that strength being like dwarfed on the Dark Confidant or not continent.
Yeah,
it's
there's
crazy.
probably I'm sure there's like because in every like animal kingdom there's one above all the rest, and whatever one that's on top of the Dark Continent, I'm guessing he's universal level. I'm guessing he breaks universes.
Is that even true? I don't think that's true. I think you made that up. There's not one in the animal kingdom. There's not one animal that's just above all other animals.
I know, you know what I mean. Like in like a wolf pack, there's a wolf leader. Like lion in the lion pack, there's a lion leader. You know what I'm talking about.
I think what's gonna happen, we're gonna go to the Dark Continent, and it's gonna be like a moment like, do you guys remember in Bleach when Ichigo's fighting Ukiura, and he's like, "You gotta be the strongest thing here, right? If I just take you out, we win." And Ukiura's like, "No, I'm like mid." That's gonna happen in the Dark Continent. They're gonna meet some guy who's like insanely strong or something, and they're gonna be like, "Holy shit, this thing must be like the strongest being to ever exist," and they're just gonna be like, "No, that's just like a normal little gremlin."
The only problem with that, I feel, is if the antagonists or the creatures that they face are too strong, you're gonna have to BS your way to make your other characters strong enough to deal with them.
I don't think. I think what's gonna happen, it's kind of hard to predict, but I feel like if the Dark Continent creatures are gonna be that strong, and Togashi wants to scale to them like humans, it's just gonna be like there's some training you can do on the Dark Continent that you can't do on Earth, which makes sense because if Nen is completely different there, then if you go train there, you'll learn Nen in a completely different way. So I don't think it would be like complete BS, or it doesn't have to be.
I mean, I just trust Togashi. Like he's not like even when you look back at Yu Yu Hakusho, like I think he's just such a strong storyteller, and that everything's so believable that like whatever direction he takes it in, it's probably gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we will probably never get a finished Hunter x Hunter. I don't think we will. So, like, it's good to imagine.
I wouldn't be surprised if he knew the end, and he just like I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote chapter 1 of Hunter x Hunter knowing the end of Hunter x Hunter, and he just hasn't been able to get there yet.
I think a lot of writers are like that. They kind of know where their ending is, but it kind of evolves based on how the story is going.
Yeah, you got to be able to get there in like a natural, satisfying way. You can't just randomly be like, all right, they're dead. Bye. That's what like One Piece is gonna do.
No, they're not. Anyway, and the problem with Hunter x Hunter, like no one else can really pick it up because Togashi's power system is so complex that people wouldn't be able to do it justice if someone else took the helm.
Yeah, I did it. I talked about that in a video once where I said this dude literally should have had a team of like trainees studying Nen and studying his works for the past like 10 years so that they could assist him.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, is there any other Nen abilities we want to talk about before we wrap things up?
I mean, I guess I got to give an honorable mention since I talked about him earlier to Goto, because his Nen ability is just like very strong thumbs,
Yeah.
and he
Man with the
flicks
coins.
coins at you very quickly.
Like bullets. And then still got fodderized by Hisoka.
I mean, probably the person with the most Nen that we've seen so far, the human with the most Nen, is probably Uvogin, right?
Yeah, I mean the dude yelled in someone's ear and the dude died. Like,
Yeah, I
It's
think
pretty insane.
in terms of just like pure destructive power, I think Uvogin was just in like, and almost what like I've seen a lot of people complaining that Uvogin was like the first of the troop that got taken out by Kurapika, but Uvogin almost needed to like be taken out of the picture because he was just too scary to exist. He was like the
yeah,
closest human to a chimera ant in nature that we've ever seen.
yeah. I would say Netero and Pure Strength is probably still stronger. I mean, to see what those Buddha hands did, and the solar beam from the mouth. It was pretty
Whoa,
destructive.
that's
Also,
that uses
Killua's
up literally
dad's
all of
probably
his
up
like
there.
life for. I actually personally think that Killua's dad is like weaker than you would expect,
Interesting.
because he really.
Yeah, I
I
feel
mean,
like
we
he's
just haven't
pretty
seen
insane.
enough. We haven't seen enough of him.
It's true. There's so many characters that like we've only got snippets of
Yeah, I mean
so
that's
Yeah.
Uo.
far.
We literally never get to see Uo again actually fight against someone except for Kurapika, who traded like, who basically got ultimate power for just the troop. Like the thing about Uvogin is that he doesn't. His Nen is so simple that he doesn't even need restrictions and covenants. So like, if you look like Netero's ultimate ability, literally kills him to use it, the zero hand. Whereas Uvogin is just like, I'm punching you.
Yeah, and the thing about Uvogin, he was a horrible matchup against Karapika too, because his pure strength literally meant nothing
Well,
to
yeah, I think. Well,
Karapika.
since Kurapika's a specialist too, there. I mean, all of the spiders will just get owned by him at the end of the day. I wonder.
Yeah.
I'm curious
If it,
how he feels about Hisoka, because
I
Hisoka
mean,
was
they worked together multiple times, and Hisoka wasn't part of the troop when they took the eye. So
I wonder if his Nen can work on former members of the spider.
I feel like it probably could work on former members, but technically, like Hisoka was kind of like fooling them the entire time so we could fight Crollo. So I don't know if it would work on Hisoka. That is interesting.
Yeah, but I'm sure Hisoka still was the perpetrator of many misdeeds while he was pretending to
Yeah.
fool them. Or
yeah,
pretending
but
in order to fool them.
the thing is, like, it doesn't matter to Karapika because it had nothing to do with the Kurta clan. So it's
Yeah,
like,
but Kurapika's, he didn't say in his Nen ability, give me the power to defeat the spiders who killed my clan. He just said the spider, like any of the spiders. So
I wonder if it's when if he thinks that they're a spider, like if he
yeah,
like
that's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say
personally
earlier. I
about
wonder
his
if it depends on
knowledge
how
of
he
who the
feels.
spider is.
yeah, I think it's that. I think he has to know in his soul whether or not they're a spider.
Because like, is he, if he comes across Killua's sibling who's a spider now, is he just gonna ice them because they're a
He
spider?
has
So he
two
could.
siblings. He has two siblings as a spider, technically.
Does he? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Illumi and the other one, his sister.
Illumi's in the spider.
I think he
think so.
joined. He joined in at the beginning of the boat arc.
That's a downgrade for him. I don't remember that.
I mean, what is Illumi gonna do? Like the only, like I don't even know. Like Illumi has this
Follow
weird thing with
Killua
his
around.
brother. That's literally he's trying to turn Killua into like the perfect assassin.
Yeah, Killua's family's weird because I think they fear him just as much as they like adore him, and so they all know that he's this super prodigy. But I feel like they don't actually teach him that much because they know he'll just surpass them and probably kill them all.
I mean,
True.
he's not his mother, because his mother's like is always proud of, like, he literally, what did he do to his mother?
He
Stab her?
stabbed her, and she was like, "Hell yeah, brother!"
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like, "Let's go."
Well, I mean, he
yeah, she
didn't
was
kill her,
happy.
so she may have been more mad if he killed her.
I think she's like, oh, he's such a great assassin. He killed his own mother.
I
He can
love
kill
his dad.
anybody.
His dad is like the best anime dad we've ever seen. He's like, "All right, son, let's sit down and have a heart to heart."
I mean, you compare his dad to Jing. I mean, there's a you can definitely see who's the better dad.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the assassin and professional killer.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot about Jing as a dad, bro. Oh,
Jing is
geez.
just your typical like, "Oh shit, I had a kid when I was 15" type of dad.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, didn't he say he kind of wanted to be with Gon, but his sister said no.
I don't think he dislikes Gon. I think the whole thing has just always been he knew he wasn't like fit to be a parent.
Yeah, and then he just let his son just stay in the hospital, almost dying, and never sees him.
Well,
Like
to be fair,
that.
Yeah.
before Gon gets cured, that what use is going and seeing like a dried up husk? It's not like he would have been able to know he was there.
I mean, it's the family.
I
It's the
wouldn't want to
family
see that,
bond.
dude. If my son, if tomorrow you came to me and you were like, your son's in the hospital, but he's like a disgusting, almost a mummy, I'd be like, no, sorry, I don't want to see
Oh
my
my
son
god.
like that. Are you joking?
It's all about emotional support. Plus, it didn't even seem like Jing really showed any affection or
Yeah, it
He
cared.
seems
gave him
like
an
in the
apple that he bit, dude. That's like an indirect kiss. He was kissing him on the cheek.
I feel like how they kind of try to justify Jean being like such a bad dad is he's like they make it seem like he's doing all of this for the betterment. Like when he doesn't go see him, he's like, "Well, I know you've got friends and they're gonna make you stronger." And then when it's like, "No, you're just not going to see your son."
Yeah, but yeah, Jing. I'm sure Jing got a pretty OP net ability eventually when we see it as well.
Well,
Yeah.
Gene's like the super genius prodigy of the series.
Yeah,
He can
like
like understand anything he sees with his eyes.
yeah, I can't see Gon surpassing Jing, but I can see Killua surpassing his entire family.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Gon is like the polar opposite of his dad, whereas Killua is just like a clone of his dad. I guess that's
Yeah,
what happens when your dad actually raises you. You turn out like him.
yeah, for sure. I mean, Gon and Jing are not polar opposites. They both are pretty selfish characters and just do whatever they want. So
Yeah,
they're
and I
not.
feel like Gene is so selfish because he leaves, wants to do his own thing, and then constantly throughout the series, you see how selfish Gon is until the end when he like kind of betrays Killua.
Well, I
So I
mean,
feel like they are kind of
Gon is a
similar.
kid. He's a child. It's normal for children to be selfish and immature.
But I think Gon is gonna grow up very similar to Jing. I think his selfishness will never go away because he does things based on like how he feels,
I don't think
and
Gon's
it.
smart enough to grow up to be Gene, to be honest.
Oh yeah, yeah. Jing literally
Like
created an entire world,
Yeah.
basically.
And
like
send his friend into it.
I don't think that their Gon's gonna go up like is a copy of Gene, but like I also don't think they're opposites. Like I feel like he has some traits that are kind of similar to him, but he also is just very much his own like character, you know.
Yeah, very, very. I would definitely agree.
I
But
like that Gene was like, "Hey son, how are you? Climb this like 5,000-foot tree to talk to me."
I'm just gonna Hey, you just got out of the hospital. Who cares? Get.
Here's an
do-
apple. I know you've been
Here's a-
climbing for like 4 days with no food or water, but here's an apple.
Yeah, and another thing, how they ended it is that they had Killua and something go on like their own journey, and then Gon. I think he just went back home. Like I
Well,
don't
he's
think.
trying to figure out how to get his NEN back, I
He
think,
can't
right?
really go on a journey right now. He's
Yeah,
been
but what does
nerfed.
he need Nen for now? Like, what? I don't feel like Gon has any intention to do anything inherently.
I
Gon
mean, I
just wants to
feel
have a good
like
time.
Gon has a similar, yeah, I feel like he has a little bit of his dad in him where he kind of wants to go on
I think he's
adventures and
smart
wants
enough to
to,
realize that he, at this point in time, can no longer continue to be a part of the world that he has been a part of, and he needs to figure out how to get back.
Yeah.
like if he had Nen, I feel like he would be so interested to go see what the Dark Continent is.
That's probably why he wants to get his Nen back, is so he can go
Yeah, so he
party on
can
the Dark
go
Continent.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
because he's just interested in things like that, and he likes to stick his nose into things. Because like even though he's looking for his dad, they go off on a ton of side adventures that he seems to really like enjoy.
He was looking for his dad. It was not an urgent mission.
Yeah.
Like they were having like fun on the. I mean, they went and fought in like a tower. They went and I mean, they did a lot of shit. Like when you think about how much Gon did before he found his dad, he really did not want to find him in a hurry.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
if he wanted to find his dad more than anything, he would have just like when he got to Kite, he would have been like, "Oh, you don't have anything for me? Well, see ya. I'm not gonna help you fight these chimera ants."
yeah, I mean, going at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing with him is if he thinks of you as a friend, then I think that's a good enough reason for him to get his Nen back. So, because Kurapika's still on a revenge mission, so I'm sure he still, wants to look out for Kurapika. And then I guess that's the biggest one. Killua's kind of doing his own thing. Lorio's not doing anything dangerous inherently, but for sure,
I don't
Kurapika.
think it's wrong either for Gon to just want Nen back because Nen is cool. Like
Well,
he's a
and
kid.
he also really enjoys fighting. Like
I think he
like
enjoys
it's not
getting
like he just
stronger as
only
well.
yeah, like he loves training. It's like very obvious in the show. Like he enjoys getting better, and he likes to test himself, like how he tests himself against Genthru. Like I think he wants to get
Or
stronger.
Hisoka. Or
Yeah,
Razor. He
I think
constantly
that
does it.
but I think the biggest thing is it's all umbrellaed under the idea that he wants to get strong enough to meet his father. So now he has to kind of figure out what he wants to do with his life. I mean, if Hunter x Hunter continues, but I mean that at the end of the day, that's a big. I think Kite might have put him on the right direction because Kite did say something to go, and I forgot what he did say to him, but he did say something to him that
Yeah,
probably.
he actually is he with Kite right now, isn't he?
I know he met Kite, but I don't think he's with him right now.
Is he with Kite currently?
I feel like he might have gone back and he might be with Kite and the like that other chimera ant who like
Kite
owes his life.
2.0.
Yeah.
Kite's ultimate form, a little girl.
Watch that version of Kite to be like the strongest character in Hunter x Hunter.
I mean, and Matt. I mean, it would be logical for him to be because if you have all the knowledge of Kite, but you just are able to restart and have even more time, like that's. I mean,
Like
imagine having Kite's brain but the body of a 12-year-old.
not like the thing is like what was Kite supposed to be? Because he was like the last Chimerian. He was even after Meruem. So why was he born? So like, does he have the powers of Chimera Ant? Is he supposed to be like the second coming of Meruem? I forgot the reason why Kite was born. Because didn't they make an emphasis? Didn't I don't know if it was the Queen or the Royal Guard, but didn't they make the emphasis of this creature being born and that was Kite?
Yeah, all I know is that Gene said that that is the number that Kite has when he really doesn't want to die, and so he used that, and then he ends up like being reborn. And I think that's like one of the reasons why is he kept his net around him, but I'm not really sure what like the implications of him like as a chimera ant are.
Yeah, because it was a weird circumstance. Because obviously he came after Meruem.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
why
don't think it's really been explained like everything about Kite yet.
did Kite Chimera Ant hybrid even more
Yeah,
so strongest character? But yeah, is there anything else? Anything else we got?
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I think we got all my favorites out of the way.
Yeah.
Talked about the goat Killua, so I'm happy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
like
just think Nen NEN's just like one of the best systems, and it has so many different uses. And it's like really fun because you don't need to have an insane amount of knowledge to enjoy it, but then you can like really look into how it works, which is also super enjoyable.
Yeah. I typed in Hunter x Hunter for the manga, and there's so much, let's just say yaoi in Hunter x Hunter manga of Gon and Killua. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, that's about it. This is NEN Abilities Kickback episode. Hope you guys all enjoyed, of course. Make sure you guys, like the video. Make sure you guys follow the podcast. I don't know what you're supposed to do in podcasts. We're already 5 stars if that's a thing. And that's about it. So this has been Kickback Anime Discussions. We'll see you this Saturday when we talk about the most important anime of all time. Bye-bye.
See ya.